Okay, don't hate on me for this. Why do women hate men? Okay, I get it. I get it, okay? It's cute, it's fun to gather with the ladies and talk about men, but it's not cool. And no, I'm not trying to be a pick-me, okay? It hurts my heart a little bit. Especially when you, like, get in a relationship with somebody and they're like, you know, they're just hated on for existing. It's that, and yes, I know misogyny exists. This exists for women as well, but to me, it seems like society is a lot more accepting when it comes to hating on men. And I just don't approve of it, okay?
Accepting? Is that what we're calling it? Accepting for all the hate that's happening against men now? It is necessarily say accepting. I would say that it is encouraged. Hating men on social media, even in traditional media, on TV shows.
I appreciate men. Yep, that's right. And yeah, we know history, folks. But just because it happened before and there are individuals that are bad doesn't mean everyone's bad, okay? That's called generalization. And we don't do that here, okay? So stop hating on men. Men are cool. And they provide things, just like the women do. And no, I'm not just talking about in a household. I mean to society. We're all the same, okay? Just because I got a different part doesn't make me all that different. I know, guys. I know you health experts and you anatomy weirdos and your chemical dorks. I know I get.
The thing is a video like this isn't going to reach the crowd it needs to reach, and women don't care. You know, you got 4,000 likes. I don't know how many views this got. The people watching this are going to be, other men are going to be passing this video around. It's not going to be women.
Oh no, I wouldn't be scared if a man in women's clothing walked into the bathroom. You're a liar. You're a liar, or you're just retarded and you have no survival instincts whatsoever. How would you feel if a man in men's clothing walked in? Right. And a man in women's clothing is just the epitome of mental stability.
I only have one opinion about this right here. I always thought that it was very unwise to normalize the idea of men dressed like women going into women's restrooms. I just always thought that was kind of a very weird idea, and that it wouldn't be good.
Dropped the glizzy. Not a euphemism for anything. Oh, I wasn't even done. There was still a quarter of the glizzy left. And it fell. It was not salvageable. God, I am literally begging you to pick another soldier, please. Please.
And see, this is an important lesson you should always grasp all glizzies as properly as in the very beginning as in the end, because every bite counts, especially if there's a lot of toppings. And you know, if you have a lot of toppings, it's going to fall face down and the toppings are going to fall first. And there's really nothing you can do at that point. If it falls straight down, the paper could save it. You know, there's paper under there. It could save that. There's protection, you know, and in a lot of cases, even the 5-second rule applies. So this is a very important thing to learn. I mean, if you have toppings, well, you've lost it. If you have toppings on that thing, it is going toppings down, and you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose it.
But I'm trying to wrap my head around how us women were really brainwashed to believe that we were sticking it to the patriarchy by showing off all of our skin and making ourselves super available for sex, where we're gonna have sex with you if we feel like it. No commitment needed. You don't have to do anything for us. We're just gonna do it. And that's how we're gonna stick it to the men. The men won. They won. Because
Yeah, I never understood that thought process. How does walking around more naked and giving men exactly what they want more often, how is that helping women? It doesn't do anything positive at all. It actually does a lot of negative.
and tell them and show them how powerful we are and whatever by making ourselves more accessible to them and giving ourselves away freely to them.
Ooh.
Like, what level of brainwashing did we go through? They won.
You have to understand it's not they won, but this was pushed by women. This was pushed by women, very specific women, long ago in the early 1900s, saying that being a mom, being a wife is a prison. Women shouldn't want to be that because it's a prison and you're trapped, and what you want to do is you want to become educated, you want to go out there and get with as many men as you can, because that's what freedom is. Freedom is keeping your legs as far apart as possible, and then I guess try to find a man that wants to settle down with you when you're in your late 40s. I don't know. I don't know the end game. It just, I don't know the exact scheme to all of it, but it just really does sound insane to me.
Men aren't the problem. Women's lack of accountability is, and that's why men are checking out of dating and nobody wants to say it. Women love to complain about men, how men don't want to commit, don't want to date, don't want to put in effort, don't want to do this and that, but rarely do women stop to ask what role they play in the problem. And trust me, girl, I used to be the same way until I realized what was really going on. The truth is, men are tired of being told they're never enough. They're tired of being called toxic for being masculine, tired of being shamed for wanting to lead, and tired of being treated like they're disposable. Why would a man want to date when he's constantly told he's the problem?
There's a problem with the language she's using, okay? Let's just be completely honest with what's going on here. When she says men, she doesn't mean like me or a majority of men. She's meaning guys that look like, Brad Pitt and stuff, or any other handsome actor. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about actors, but you get what I mean. These are the types of men these women are talking about. So of course these men are not going to commit. These men are not going to want to be in relationships. Why would they? And why would they with just an average, normal? I think maybe there's a woman out there that these guys are, absolutely, if she's young enough and hot enough and everything, sure, that they're going to change their life for these women, which I think is a bad idea, but these men will probably do it anyway. So there's no reason for these men to do any of these things you want them to do. And so these men are having fun doing what they want. And the other 98% of men have decided to completely check out of dating and even dealing with women altogether.
When every mistake is weaponized against him and every effort is met with criticism or indifference. Add in the fact that so many women are competing with men instead of complimenting them, and it's no wonder men are choosing peace over partnership. Men want to feel respected, needed, and appreciated. When they don't get that, they check out, and honestly, I can't blame them. If you want a man who actually wants to show up for you, maybe start by showing him some respect.
Yeah, good luck with that. I think it's too far gone at this point. I think a lot. And here's my thought process with this, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this thought process, because this is very interesting to me, at least. I think that there's always going to be the dudes that sleep around, and they'll be on dating apps. They might hang out at bars, hang out at clubs, and get women that are drunk, whatever. There's always going to be those dudes around. Let's be real. And then there's going to be the honest men, which is a majority of men. These are honest, normal, average dudes, normal jobs, normal vehicles, very, very normal lives. These are the men that have kept trying. They have done, they've listened to all the tips. They've done everything. They've approached women. They've done online. They've met with family friends and stuff. And it's just the same pattern happens over and over. These are the men that are going to be checking out because it's not worth it. And let's say you get all those promotions and you still make all that money. And now you're ready to get this woman and marry her. And then what happens? What happens? So it's like it's a lose-lose either way. So yeah, these men are staying single. They're choosing not to even date, not to even entertain these women because it's not worth it. You do not get peace. You do not get peace no matter what you do involving yourself with these women, unless it's for a couple of hours in the late evening and then she leaves and goes back to her place.
You know that it's a sad day in America when women genuinely believe that true oppression is not being able to murder their own unborn son or daughter.
But I have heard some women say that is a perfectly fine form of birth control, which is completely insane. That is not birth control. If you have to get to that point, guess what? You're already in the birthing process. Birthing is happening, okay? Like it's on its way. So that's not birth control. That's just birth destruction. Birth control would be, I think, the best kind of birth control for a woman, honestly. And if you want 100%, I think it's abstinence. Maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Maybe you shouldn't fucking be doing it. Let's have that conversation. They say a woman's brain isn't completely developed until it's 30 years old. Well, then don't fuck. Maybe you ain't old enough to do it. Maybe you need to wait. Maybe that's what it's going to take, because they've been on this crazy train that's barreling toward some sort of unknown hellish destination, and not realizing that it's because of their freedom to make all of these decisions, these choices that honestly aren't really good decisions or choices. Men are telling them that it's fucked up. Other women are telling them that it's fucked up. And it's only a certain type of women as well. I mean, and you all know what I'm talking about. I'm not one of these it's all women type of people, but it's only certain types of women.
Can we be so for real for a second? How are men, not the prize in relationships? As women, we expect men to approach us first, plan the dates, pay for the dates, drive everybody to the dates, provide, protect, stay loyal to us, keep themselves looking good, keep calm in all of the situations and never freak out, and they have to do all of this without complaining. Because, God forbid they do complain, then all of a sudden they're too emotional. Or God forbid they don't make 6 figures and all of a sudden they're broke. Or God forbid they're not taller than you and all of a sudden he's too short. Or God forbid somebody tries to set boundaries and oh my God, he's too controlling. And then you're doing all of this while simultaneously yelling at him that he's replaceable and you can have any man that you want.
So if you haven't found out that it's all just this mental, emotional game that women love to play, because that's basically all it is. Emotional games. A lot of women don't even know how to communicate without playing these very subversive, very mean-spirited emotional games with the person that they're getting involved with, talking with, in a relationship with, in a friendship with. It's just part of who they are. It's part of who they are. It's part of their nature, I guess. You know, when a woman attacks you, she's not going to attack you physically. She's going to attack your reputation. She's going to attack you behind the scenes. She's going to talk shit about you behind your back. A lot of times she will accuse you of things that you didn't do, and there's really no way you can fight back from it unless you want to sue her for defamation. Or I've seen so many men get taken down because a woman made a false allegation and there's no proof to back it up. But it really doesn't matter. When it comes to reputation, proof really doesn't matter, because once those accusations are thrown out there, you can't get them back. And you could potentially just ruin a person's life. And these women know that. And that's how they fight. That's how they do this. You know, women like to think that they're super special. They're not special. They're demons in a lot of cases.
Or you're saying that you don't need a man actually, and you can do everything you want by yourself and you don't need anybody to tell you anything. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, at a certain point, we have to stop yelling at men and expecting them to be superheroes and then getting mad at them and criticizing them like fucking dogs whenever they act like a human being. Like, maybe men are the prize and we just need to start appreciating what they bring to.
No, women say they want men, but just like she said, they don't want a man. They want an obedient dog, someone they can boss around, someone they can just treat like shit, someone they can beat, someone they can strap a shock collar on and shock the hell out of. If they get out of line, if they step off the bed, they're going to shock them, and they're going to keep shocking them for months and months and months until whenever they see her arm jolt toward the side of the desk, they can start having, you know, Pavlov constrictions. You know, their spine starts tightening up. They don't know what's going on. Balls in a vice at that point. And then that's what women want. They want obedient, subservient thing. Not even a man. Because it's not a man at that point. It's just a thing. It's a thing that they use and they abuse. And when they're done, they're going to toss it aside and rinse and repeat and go grab another pathetic piece of shit to do it to.
This is how low the Democratic Party has gone to, that they are now recruiting and encouraging domestic terrorism.
I shared this with the mayor. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee will be launching on their website a master ICE tracker, where we're going to be essentially tracking every single instance that we can verify that the community will be able to send us information on.
Yep, guys, that was Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, in an oversight committee.
Oh, Karen Bass, the mayor of LA. You hear that? Remember the episode recently I put out about women and positions of power and how a lot of bad decisions get made? I'm not saying all women, but it's always certain types of women in these positions. Yeah, look at where LA is right now.
Member Robert Garcia letting people know that they are being domestic terrorists towards ICE by creating a website that will allow people to submit tips of where ICE is at, that will then put their life in danger. That's the reason why they have...
Well, we've already heard about the bounties put on ICE. There's been the kids that have been arrested for posting TikToks where they're saying they're going to collect the bounties and stuff. These are people doing their jobs. These are essentially law officers, law enforcement. And so the idea that this is even allowed, the idea that you can even get on, this wasn't even online, this is on the news. This is a press conference from the mayor saying, oh, hey, by the way, ICE agents, here's a location of where they're all located and you know what to do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is completely insane. Mayor Karen Bass, by the way. If you can't tell by now that a lot of shit is going to start getting really bad, and a lot of it is being spearheaded by this crazy movement, which I don't even know what it is at this point. You can call it whatever you want, but once you start connecting the dots and once you start drawing the lines, it only leads in one direction.